Well, hello. Thank you so much for joining us today. I have with me Kathy Craig, who is a friend of mine from a season in ministry we did together in Southwest Michigan. I keep wanting to say Southeast Michigan, but we're here in Southwest Michigan. And Kathy, tell us a little bit about what you do in your day job, but also tell us a little bit about your ministry. So what is it that you fill your time with these days?
Yeah, thanks, Anne. And it's fun to be here, so thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, thank
I
you.
serve in corporate communications for Whirlpool Corporation. I lead our global interactive team and basically overseeing all of our global websites, videos, all digital experience, etc. And actually, prior to this role, which I absolutely love, I led the creative team in marketing specifically for one of our Whirlpool brands, which is KitchenAid. So I'm able to just I've, in my experience at Whirlpool Corporation, I've had my feet in both marketing and communications.
And
But
that's your day job, but you're also a pastor. I mean, you've been a bivocational pastor for a long time. So tell me a little bit about where you've ministered and what that ministry has looked like.
correct, because I always felt that God wanted me in the workplace as I was going through seminary. I was really thinking that I was going to be full-time vocational, but God had other plans for me. So bivocational, co-vocational, I have served in both areas, in both the secular world and in the church. So I served on pastoral staff at one of the network churches, part of Water's Edge Network, which is Overflow, and primarily as discipleship pastor. That's where my heart is, but I have held roles in the church as a communications lead, headed up all our marketing plans prior to the church joining the network, served as a mobilization pastor, outreach, engagement, a number of different areas.
Yeah,
So
you're
yeah,
just a wealth. So that's where you and I met, is when we were working in, the digital communication and actually just overall communication and marketing for Overflow as it related to the network and stuff like that. But man, have been such a mentor to me in spiritual formation. So thank you so
well,
much for all of
as
your.
as soon as I met you, I remember just telling your lead pastor, like, I want to hire her
You're
in
so sweet.
the
Oh my God. Okay.
corporation.
So moving on. So one
And
of
you're
the things,
phenomenal.
Kathy, that you and I have talked a lot about is in that time when we worked together is like traditional marketing in the church. Is there a place in the church world for a traditional marketing model? Like, is marketing like a dirty word or something that we should be avoiding?
No, absolutely not. I believe marketing works. I've seen it work. And I don't want to say works, but it really does lead people to Christ. And so I think absolutely we should not shun traditional marketing. I know there have been arguments about leaving room for the Holy Spirit. 100% invite the Holy Spirit into your marketing plan first and foremost. But I believe if you're strategic, you completely understand your audience, you're able to best speak to that person and really target who that audience is, even if you have to break it into maybe three people personas and speak their language. You can then use traditional marketing and effectively measure both cause and effect. So if you utilize a certain venue or a certain channel for your marketing, you can measure that to see how many people actually did that draw that in, and how many people actually gave their lives to Christ.
Yeah.
I've seen it work in amazing ways.
Yeah. So talk to me, like when you said the word channel, when we talk about channel in marketing, what are we talking about there? What would a channel be for a church that a pastor should consider using?
Yeah, well, it could be anything from the very, very traditional marketing. I mean, I know churches have utilized newspapers in the past.
Right.
Now,
We've done newspaper ads every Christmas. We do newspaper ads.
yeah, are they effective? And I mean, I think we also need to look at that too. How effective are they now? What is the audience reach in the newspaper? And are those the people that you want to speak to? If
Exactly.
if you really want to attract young audience, probably not the traditional route. Don't spend your money there, but look at where are these people gathering? Where are they getting their information from? And then look at those channels. So if it's social media, what social media platforms are they on? If it's even if you have a smaller closed community, even will billboards be effective for that?
Mhm.
Direct mail. I know everybody, well, I'm not sure now with the threat of the postal
I know all that drama, right?
disruption. But nonetheless, I mean, I know with COVID, part of my huge day, because I work from home every day now, is going out to the mailbox to see what's
Oh,
out
that's
there.
crazy. I
So,
never thought about that. Yeah.
mhm. So you know what? Is it wise to bring back direct mail? Because I think that even could be effective today. I think a lot of the traditional routes that we've taken, we just need to put them all on the table and say, what do we need to throw away and what do we need to maybe resurrect
Yeah.
too?
Yeah. So we're thinking right now in this season, hopefully churches are thinking about Christmas. What are
Mhm.
some ways that you would recommend churches consider um, marketing their Christmas services this year? Should they even market their Christmas services? I mean, shouldn't it just be as simple as I'm just going to throw my service times up on my website and people will come?
Yeah, no, no. No, now more than ever, because I mean, look at how much society has changed, right? I would say persistent uncertainty has just produced a lot of the, like we hear it all the time, unprecedented
Hmm.
um, times, an unprecedented degree of behavior change, right?
Right.
So, I mean, I think we really need to look at how humanity has basically um, both collectively and simultaneously just experienced a whole disruption to their health, to the economy, to politics, society of just extraordinary proportions.
Yeah.
So I would say don't rely all completely on what you did last year
Mhm.
because people are just different now. They've changed. So I would say, like, meet with them where they are. People are really hungry for a sense of clarity. They are craving community, but
Mhm.
they also want safety and they want trust. So how do you as a traditional institution rebuild that confidence and credibility at the same time, but then tap into maybe those former Christmas memories where they had Christmas traditions, maybe
Right.
safety, love. Um, uh, I think particularly, in my opinion, I could be wrong, that this year Christmas is just calling us back to basics in a very hyper-connected world. And how do you best do that?
And you mentioned the word traditional church in that answer, Kathy, and I know that you've been thinking during especially this COVID season about how church might look different in this season. So what are some of the things that you are exploring as a pastor, as a
Mhm.
community member, as a business person who follows Jesus? How do you see church changing in this season?
Yeah, I think we have to go smaller instead of going larger, honestly. And then, so if you're looking at your marketing plan, um, start thinking about maybe do you start incorporate opportunities for smaller gatherings? Do you start incorporating now, like today or in the fall at least, a small group strategy into your Christmas marketing
That
plan?
is such an interesting idea. I at my church I oversee small groups, and so I've never thought about it until you just said that now. And here I am conducting the interview, but I've never thought about
Yeah.
advertising small groups almost out in the community before I advertise my Sunday services.
Yeah, and then prepare your small groups, particularly for what that Christmas celebration might look like
Right.
in smaller communities, because that is they want community. So if even if there are stay-at-home orders in your state or anything along those lines, can you invite 10 people into your home to celebrate Christmas together? And then how does the church support that in
Yeah.
some ways?
What a
I don't
great,
have the answers. These are just all questions that have been
no,
mulling in
one,
my head.
yeah, one of the reasons we're having this conversation in August, right, about Christmas, like I know there's definitely some people who thought I was crazy, and I was like, no, we got to be thinking about Christmas now if we want to have an effective Christmas ministry in December, even if things change.
Absolutely.
Between
Yeah.
now and December. I know our team met to start discussing Christmas second week of August. They had their first meeting, and I know our team was like, "Oh, that's so late," but they even felt that was late. Like that's how we try to think really ahead and plan ahead so that we can do some of those creative things
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
process these questions.
Yeah.
You said one other thing that I want to dig into in this time, Kathy. You talked about personas. So I hear this all the time in the church world. I want to reach everyone. I just want to reach everyone, everyone, everyone. And we do want to reach everyone. We want to make disciples of all nations, right? That is our call. But in the marketing world, we talk a little bit more about target groups, target marketing, demographics, those kinds of things. Talk to me about this persona concept. Why is that important? Why is it important to know who you're talking to?
Yeah, it's hugely important. Yeah. So thanks for bringing that up. And in the marketing world, yeah, it's pretty typical to define your audience, but even to, I would say drill down, not just gender, where they live, but really understand who they are, what excites them, what are their pain points, what are their barriers to coming to church, you can even get so specific as defining that persona down to what do they like to eat, what do they do after dinner, what is their family like, or even what does their Sunday morning look like if you are trying to drive them into your Sunday morning service. How, what is there, chaos there, is there not? So really understand their age. I mean, you need to very, very specifically when you're targeting personas to speak their language and know their language completely. I often, when I'm writing any marketing messages, I will actually write to one person, and then, of course, when it's cast into a broader channel, it
Right.
will reach a lot more people. But if I can speak to a voice to one specific person, I find that my marketing is a lot more effective.
So if I'm, say, creating Facebook ads, which I would encourage churches to do, full disclosure, when I was communications director at Central, we killed the newspaper ads. We did do it for a long time, but we killed the newspaper ads and directed all of that energy and that money to Facebook ads. So if I'm writing a Facebook ad, I'm writing it to a particular person in my head that might look different than just, hey, our service times are da 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 da.
Mm-hmm.
Show up.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be great. I'm asking questions that maybe they're asking, or I'm trying to meet a need that they might have. Am I hearing that?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
We followed the same suit in the secular world too, in secular business. We stopped all traditional print advertising and put it all online.
to put it online. Yeah. And it can be a little scary, but it doesn't have to be hard. There are people there.
No. And it's funny because even up to 5 years ago, our lead pastor here, so we serve a very diverse and economically diverse population. And we had actually not arguments, but just some
Conversations.
strong discussions, let's say,
Yeah.
on how important it is or how not important it is to put all our efforts into digital marketing, because the argument at the time was, and this was, I would say, even just as few as 5 to 7 years ago, well, not everybody has access to computers.
Right.
But you know what? Everybody else does have access to
Right.
smartphones. They do.
Yeah.
So, okay, there are a few with flip phones, but
Yeah, but they're just as expensive as smartphones anymore. I mean,
they are.
I've tried.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I would say it's fair to say
Mm-hmm.
the majority of your people have access to
Right.
digital advertising, and you can even take Google ads, or even specifically mobile phone ads. You
Yeah.
can target your audience there. So
Well, and that actually just a good point to remember is that when we're doing our marketing, if most people are accessing things like our website and social media on our phones,
Mhm. Yes.
I know that's one of the biggest things my team has to discipline ourselves for. We just did the sign up and I'm like, all right, but check it. Is it easy to use on my phone? How much
Yes.
am I going to have to type versus how many things can I just click if I'm signing up for a
Yeah.
small group
Yeah.
or doing something like that? And we're really excited in the next couple of weeks. We're going to use text messaging to sign up for small groups for the first time.
Excellent. Well done. Yes.
That'll be a lot of fun. We'll see how that works. We'll have to circle back in October and tell everybody how that goes.
Can't wait to hear. Yeah, I'm curious too.
Yeah. All right. So let's close this out. I have one final question for you, Kathy, because I want to leave our audience with, if they go forth from this place and do one thing right now to just do one thing, what would that be? What would you say that one thing needs to be?
Know who you are, and I have to add an and then who you want to engage with.
I love it.
And know yourself well and know them well. Don't necessarily tell your message, but come from the perspective, what does your audience need to hear?
Yes.
And
I
how
love
can you serve them from that perspective?
And that doesn't have to be like, somebody might feel that process is overwhelming if they're an overwhelmed pastor, but we're talking about like taking a time on an afternoon and really just thinking through, praying through, laying down at the, at God's feet. Who do you want me to reach? Who do you want me to?
Yeah. Or even look at like, who are the last 2 or 3 people who walked in my door, who didn't know Christ?
Yeah.
And what were they carrying with them? And how did the church, what drew them in?
Right.
Ask them that. Go back to the people that had just walked in your door. What drew you in? Or what are you looking for? And, it's, I think we tend to complicate it a little bit more than it needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kathy, this is so great. Thank you so much for taking the time,
great.
spending time with us, talking shop, church shop, marketing shop, all the different hats that we get to wear in our various roles. So thank you so much.
Thank you. It was great seeing you again, Ann.
Good to see you too.
All righty. Take